領域展開無料空所
What's good, everybody? What's good, Last Cloudia community? It's Fire King Kami, back at it again with another video, and welcome to the Fire King's domain. So today, we're going to be doing a character showcase and sort of a build overview of Adel. Thank you for everybody that watched the summon video with me and the Lore Shogun, aka the Dojo. I really appreciate all the views. I was not expecting to get that many views that quick. Last I checked, we were at 608 views in 4 days, so I really appreciate that. That really motivates me to want to make more Last Cloudia videos for you guys. And today I thought we would come in and I would do just a really quick straightforward video on Adel, aka Chad Cow. So we're going to be doing it on What Devours the Forest, but before we go into the actual fight, we're going to go and sort of just look at an overview of the build and just sort of see where we are. This is a 94 SC free-to-play-ish build. I did use some of the one of the God Relic stones to get them up to 94 SC. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it. And also thank you to the Dojo for giving me inspiration for this build. I have a few tweaks to the build that he did that I'm doing for my own. And we're kind of just like going back and forth, passing builds back to each other and everything. So first, what we have is we have all of the attack ups except, well, actually no, yeah, all of the attack ups. So we got attack up 1, attack up 2, 3, 4 max. As you know, they all stack. So we'll be getting a set 27, 30, 35, math. Does math work? 27, 35, 40 to 42% strength, I think, if my math is correct. Then we have Fighting Spirit 4 and Fighting Spirit Max for another 25%. Heroism, obviously all of the skills that Adel gets from his board by himself, we're gonna have. You're not gonna want to take those off. Why would you? We are running just one of the SC's worth of crit up 2 for the critical hit rate plus 5. That's just going to keep bringing our critical rate up higher because of a few things that we have down the line as far as longevity for Adel throughout the fights. So we're going with advanced aim vitals. You don't really need aim vitals on Adel. He has enough crit power on his own. We have Proud Force, critical hits restore HP. So we have all these critical hits, and I don't think Proud Force restores based on the power of the crit. It's just the crit rate. So each time you hit a crit, you restore HP based on how many crits you hit, not the strength of the crit that you did. I think that's how that works. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more looking into it. We have Divinity Buster, Divinity Shield. Those are pretty much just buffs and debuffs and strengths and weaknesses over divine gods, dragon spirits, undeads. Special boost, so any sort of anti-type effect is plus 50%. So Adel, if you didn't know, Adel is essentially a boss killer. So if there's some sort of boss in the game that you're having a lot of trouble fighting and you want to try to make a build that's going to help you in fighting that specific type of boss, then you can follow this build and sort of tweak it and give yourself like God Slayer or Sorcerer Slayer or Undead Slayer, whichever one you need, really. So yeah, you got the special boost there. You got auto high protection for a continuous high protection effect, also auto haste, Fury, and Awaken 2. Is there an Awaken 1? If there's an Awaken 1, I don't have it, but you won't really need it. Awaken 2 is perfectly fine. We have Pride, so at max HP, your strength is plus 20%. So you're going to be doing an even more greater percentage of damage added or as a buff to your strength because you're going to be staying at max HP because of the crit ups and the crit ups and advanced aim vitals and all of that. And then right under it, Ardor, so critical hit rate plus 10% at max HP. That's essentially just like an ever-feeding loop where your HP stays up, so your crit stays up, so your HP stays up, so your crit stays up. It sort of works like that, you know. And I'm not gonna lie, it's a really nice loop. It's sort of like the Goddess Kiss Sharp Eyes loop, but just different. We have Flames of Justice, which comes on the board. That's just giving you a gigantic damage cap. Well, not gigantic, but pretty decently sized damage cap and extra damage for fire and light, 30%. That's nothing to sneeze at. We're going to be running all 3 of the poses. 2 of them you'll have to get from your arcs. So Pose of Glory, when defeating an enemy, slightly recover SCT. You definitely want that because while SCT does recover one SCT per second, it's going to help that come even further. I think that cuts it to 1 SCT every 0.75 seconds. I think that's what it cuts it to. So you're going to just be getting your skills back a lot quicker. And the mission that we're going to go to, it's not really going to be evident because, well, actually killing enemies, it will be evident. If it was the AO version of these skills, then it would be not really that evident, you know. Next, we're going to be running Pose of Honor. When defeating an enemy, recover 5% MP because we do have, if we're going to go down a little bit more, you see right there, we do have the Goddess Kiss Sharp Eyes package in the build. We're going to be running Pirate Feast, so restore all SC at the end of battle. This is sort of what I was talking about, where we're going to go into. It's not really like waves that we're going to be going through. It's sort of just like kill one enemy, another enemy spawns on the same stage, you know what I mean? So it's not really going to be giving you your SCT like you want, but this is going to be useful for you for when you go into other things like tower and, you know, things like that. Next we have Spirit Breath. One second. So you're gonna recover 3 seconds of SCT when HP is recovered by an active skill. Now that by itself, with Adel running by himself, isn't really gonna do anything, because Adel doesn't have anything that heals himself through an active skill. All of his healing comes from the Proud Force and everything, you know. But if you're running a build with, say, Sarah and Tinkley, they're going to keep buffing you and they're going to keep giving you these active skills that are raising your HP. So you're going to be constantly recovering SCT as you're going through those stages with those characters. There's a lot of builds that you can do like that that'll support that. Next we have Goddess Kiss. Obviously regular attacks have a chance to absorb 2% of damage dealt as MP. You'll see that a lot with dual wielders and single wielders. You'll see that with physical DPS characters. I know I run this on my Virgil build, I run it on my Levi build, I run it on my V build, I believe. It's just too good not to have. If you have the arcs and you have the SE for it, it's, you know, if you don't use it, you know, you're just sort of missing out on damage, you know what I mean? Piercing physical attacks have a chance of greatly reducing enemies' defenses. With the amount of times and the amount of hits that each one of these skills gives, that's going to give you a higher chance than, you know, just have a chance makes it sound like it's never going to happen. But, you know, when you have 100 chances per round or whatever, you know, that's 100 chances per round, you know, eventually you're going to have to get it. Chivalrous Mindset Sword. We're going to be running sword and armor equip, sword strength and armor defense plus 50%. So I know some people kind of get that confused. They're like, why doesn't it work or anything? You have to have one sword and one piece of armor, like one armor set in your armor slot. You can't have robes, you can't have clothes. It has to be armor, and it has to be a sword, not a spear, not a bow, not claws or anything like that. So when you have a sword and you have armor equipped, your sword strength and your armor defense plus 50%. That's just gonna make your Godforge items and your late game items that you have on your character even stronger than they already are after you've had them alchemied up, enchanted up or enhanced up. I mean, we have Shockwave, favorite sword, Doppelhander, and Doppelhander Boost 3. Adel is a single sword user, as evident with the chivalrous mindset, and as obvious with Doppelhander and all of those favorite sword and all that. There's one thing that is missing here, and that is Doppelhander Boost 2, which I don't have the arc for. I don't have the Grand Worm, so I wasn't able to do that. But as you'll see, following this build, you will be able to do your harder content in the game, even without it. Adel is a boss killer. He fights and beats the biggest, strongest people on the stage. So pretty much anything that you can do in order to make him better at that is just going to make him better overall. He's not I'm not going to say he's not an ad clearer like how Alice is or Levi, but that's not what he was built for. He's a descendant of Kyle who defeated the God of Ruin before. That's the big boss. He went and defeated the big boss. That's how they made his character. And personally, I don't mind it. I actually love it. I know there was a big contention in the community about, why is Adel stronger than Kyle even though they fought the same person? It's just they had like a gap in between times when they did it, and for obvious reasons, it's because it's a new character, so power creep's coming in. But any other reason, it wouldn't really make sense. They would probably be on the same level. I would probably say Kyle probably would be a little better, just because it's future times and probably a little better. I don't know. We can go into lore about that with Dojo at some time. We can go into a podcast or something like that. But let's just get back to this build. So we have Sword Boost, Sword High Boost, and Sword Mega Boost. He gets Sword Boost and Sword Mega Boost for free off of his board. You will want to put Sword High Boost on just to give him even more stronger physical attacks when you are waiting for your SCT to come back and you're having the basic attack. You're going to be doing pretty good amount of damage with each strike. We'll show you in there because there is a moment here where we're going to be waiting for some of our skills to come back through SCT. Armor High Boost and Armor HP Plus. So this is sort of already like, you don't have to put HP up on him because he already sort of gets that. Plus he always heals himself, and generally you're going to be running him with a healer anyway. Armor High Boost, when armor is equipped, defense plus 20% and damage taken from bosses minus 10%. That's what I mean when I say that he's a boss killer, because everything that he does, it's to make the boss weaker while making himself stronger. We're going to go over his kit and his skills in a second just to sort of like ingrain that even further. That's one thing that's really important with characters in this game when you're building, especially if you're new. Take the time to go in and actually read the skills and figure out exactly what they do, because there are a lot of skills that boost those things up and makes them even stronger. Adel has skills that takes away percentages from other things and then adds them all together and boosts them to himself while debuffing those other things. So next we have Ultimate Boost and Ultimate Boost 2. You only need Ultimate Boost 2, you get Ultimate Boost 1, you get Ultimate Boost 2 for free. So if we manage to get our special filled all the way up, then we will be able to see just how much damage his special does. Even when this build wasn't full, when I was testing it out, he was taking out a considerable amount of health from the boss with each time he used it. Next, we have Skill Charge 1. So Skill Charge 1, that's probably So it restores some SCT in the top left skill at the start of the battle. So the first skill that Adel has instantly closes a gap and does a lot of burst damage as soon as that gap is closed. So that's going to be sort of like your go-to skill that you're going to use at the start of battle. You'll see when we go into the battle. So being able to have that be constantly available to you is just going to make your Adel go even stronger. You get quick trigger, so you recover skill SCT stock at the start of battle. So any one random skill on your board, minus the special obviously, you'll just automatically get a stock for it at the beginning of the fight. Sharp Eyes we already went over. Giant Killing is another one. You're going to want Giant Killing on there because, like I said, look, skill and special damage to bosses plus 20%. Adel is a boss killer. Giant Killing, boss killer, boosting boss damage. You see what I mean? Yeah, you're following. You're smart. So, obviously, you're going to want Giant Killing and Giant Killing 2. Fair and Square. Physical attack damage plus 20%, damage cap plus 2,000 to enemies without status ailments. So any enemy that's not blind or sickened or stunned or anything like that, you're going to be having a higher damage cap and you're going to be doing more damage to them. There's an entirely different thing that happens when they do have a status ailment that we'll go over. But here we have parry, so when you have a sword equipped, you have a chance for critical damage that you take from enemies to be minus 40%, so almost half reduction, which is really nice. Adel does, he does decently enough for tanking. There's definitely some times where he probably wants to have a healer with him, but for the most part, he's able to recover his health himself. We have Unbreakable Spirit. Lastly, while this unit is alive and all other allies are incapacitated, when taking lethal damage, survive with 1 HP and get a 7-second nullified damage taken buff. Durability is max HP times 3 once per wave. So once per wave, you get essentially a free revive. You survive with 1 HP and you get 7 seconds of invulnerability, essentially, that you can use to try to, proud force yourself back up to a decent amount of health. So all of that put together is a 94 SC build. If you have done the anniversary matches and you've done your missions and everything, and you've bought your Prism, then it'll take you up to 92. And if you haven't already used your God Relic Prism, then you're able to use that, craft that, and then put another 2 SC on Adel, which is what I did. Next, we're going to go over and look at his equips. So this is the equip list that I'm using right now. There's better armor to use than Geist Training Armor, but we'll go over it in a second. So the sword that I'm using is the Sword of Lost Souls. Physical and special attack damage plus 15%. If special damage is resisted, ignore the resistance. Sort of self-explanatory, but if, let's say we have an anti-god special, if that god resists it, then you just ignore that resistance and you do full damage. Then the special attack damage is already buffed up by 15% on top of the skills that you're going to have associated with that. Next, we have Geist Training Armor. That comes from Geist Training Mountain's Arc Ether reward. When using a skill at full stock, skill damage plus 25%. There is a few times, especially when you have waves of enemies, where you're going to be at full stock because you have Pirate Feast on your Adel. Because you have your Pirate Feast on your Adel, you're going to be at max stock every time you go into a new round. So as soon as you go into a new round, whatever move you want to use is just automatically going to be stronger by 25%, which is nothing to sneeze at, This is a very strong armor to use. There's definitely better ones, ones that will give you more strength, because that's one of Adel's biggest stats that you're going to want to buff up his strength. I know he's already over 3,000 strength, but, the more the better, in my opinion. And this is relatively easy to get because Geist Training Mountain is a rare arc, and you can get it, pretty much at any pull you do, you're pretty much guaranteed to get at least 1 or 2, 3, 4 rare arcs. So I've had this for a while. All I did was just alchemied it up to plus 20 to get that 75 defense added onto my stats. The first accessory that we're going to be running is Mithril Relief. That's going to give you 200 HP and 65 strength. And when a sword is equipped, it boosts your movement speed. And on top of that, your skill damage is plus 10%. So you see those two things working hand in hand. You're at full stock, so you get plus 25%. And then you use that skill and you get plus 10%. So you're getting a plus 35 just off rip just because of these two items. And then lastly, the Scarlet Ring, which you can buy using your Crimson Ore from the trading space. Your special damage cap is plus 2,000, so that's just buffing up your special, you know. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. So before we go into his kit, I'm just gonna go over the arc that we're gonna be using. There's a few that you can use. This is the one that I use, Icy Guardian. I do have it at level 10 max, and I have used some extends on there. But essentially, the biggest thing that you're going to be getting out of this is the physical attack critical damage is plus 40%, and physical attack criticals deal an extra ice attack. You're not doing any ice damage with Adel anyway, so that's not really doing much. But that fire resistance plus 20 and ice resistance plus 20 is very nice to have, especially depending on some bosses that you fight, whether they're going to be in the desert or the ice caves or anything like that. The HP is really nice to have, and then the strength over here plus 356 strength. I haven't done anything with the Arc Ether reward, but the Arc Ether reward is pretty decent if you need a pretty generic every build type sword to use. Defeat an enemy, recover SCT, combine that with your poses and whatnot, and you're pretty much just running through SCT like it's nothing. I do have my Adel at level 110. He is 4.5 star awakened. He has 12,794 health before the boost, 3,529 damage or strength before the boost, 1,740 defense before the boost, and 814 intellect before the boost. And his mine is just 1094. I do have his board completely done as well. He resists, all of these. He's weak to, I believe that's toxic. He is very weak to ice damage, so if you're gonna run him, using Icy Guardian will give you sort of just like a neutral, regular taking full amount. You're not really reducing any damage from ice, but he has a plus 15 to fire and light, which are the two skills that are the two attributes that he has built into himself. Not to mention he has a plus 20 to earth, so he's not going to be taking too much earth damage, which you'll see when we go into this fight. So his traits: ultimate power. When holy enchant isn't set, when it's equipped with only one weapon, your fire damage is plus 45%. Your damage cap is plus 25,000, which is very good. You resist flinching from fire and earth physical and magic attacks, which is very useful for this fight that we're about to do. When holy enchant is set, it's pretty much all of that except light damage you get a boost to, and you don't flinch from light and dark physical and magic attacks. So essentially, before you go into a fight, you just kind of want to know what attribute the enemy that you're fighting is going to be, and you're just going to want to set your holy enchant accordingly. Next, you have Brave Soul. So you get a continuous Grand Brave effect. During the boss wave, your strength is plus 20% more. When special activates, you add 15% of living allies' total strength, defense, intellect, and mind, excluding Adel, to this unit's strength and deal damage. So you're taking 15% from each one of your people in your crew aside from him. You're adding those up, and then you're adding it to his strength. You're adding those percentages up, so that's plus 45% if you have a full four-person party. And also boost special damage cap based on number of living allies, max of 45,000. So when you have all of your allies alive, you're going to be getting that 45,000. we look over here to Adel's skills. We have Trust Edge. Like I said, that's the one that instantly closes the gap for a medium area fire combo attack. And when Holy Enchant is set, it swaps it over to light instead of fire. When Holy Enchant set, it essentially does that for all of them, changes from fire to light. There's not really much more that you need to know about that. Grand Ride is a frontal medium area fire combo attack that launches enemies in the air. You're not really going to be launching these enemies that we're about to fight into the air, so that skill is essentially just there for damage. The most important one, in my opinion, is the Brave Strike. It's a wide area fire combo attack. Some of these enemies sort of like bunch up together, and you are able to hit them at the same time with that Brave Strike. And then the Ether Driver is the special. It hits in a wide area. It's a fire combo attack. And Holy Enchant, swap it from fire to light depending on what you need. So with all that being said, I figure we can go over and we can go into here, and we're running What Devours the Forest. It's a Adel Forest, recommended level 100, no continue, normal stage. So yeah, let's just get into it. Wish me luck. I have run this a couple of times just to test out the build, and it does very well for this. Firstly, what you're going to want to do when you get into the fight is go ahead and activate your hero's charisma. So all allies strength, defense, intellect, and mind plus 10%. Damage cap to boss monsters plus 2,000 only when he's alive and doesn't stack with other charismas like Majas or Ardines, or for example. So we're going to go ahead and activate that, and we're going to close this gap, and we're going to take him out. And you see 72,000 non-crits. That's all that strength up that we're running, and all that attack up. So as you can see, we got 19,000 crits off of basic attacks. You see that 7299 crit that we just did, and you see right here we are regaining 295 health, or right around there, each time we attack. So we're gonna go ahead and activate Grand Ride, and that just kills the boss or kills the enemy before they're able to do their magic attack. So as you can see, these skills, when you have Holy Enchant not set and you're fighting enemies who have very low resistances to fire, you're gonna be doing a lot of damage. As you can see right there, I didn't get knocked back from that attack right then that the enemy just did, because it was an earth magic attack, and we resist that. So as you can see, we just finished them off. Another 7299 crit. We saw a few of them there. Each one of Adel's hits, they do a lot of hits. You see the enemy is guarding, but we're still doing 17,000 crits right there. 23,000 we just saw. We're not flinching from anything that they're doing to us, like Rock Disaster. We're going to activate Grand Ride, and we're going to jump back over here and Trust Edge. Brave Strike almost completely kills it in one hit, and you saw all of those crits that we just did. You see, we're pretty much just chunking all of their health off with each time that we activate a skill. It doesn't really matter which one you activate, we're just going to be chunking off all of their health. And right here is when the boss starts. So this is when Adel starts to get some of those boss traits that he has, like having extra damage against the boss. So as we can see right here at the top of the screen, the boss is already down to about 50% health after only about 3 ability or 3 skills uses. So as you can see, we're not flinching from that earth magic attack, and we're still sitting right here just attacking, where this is one of those moments I was talking about where we're going to be waiting for some SE to come back. And when we do, we have Grand Ride right here. We can Trust Edge and then Brave Strike, and voila, he's dead. And we're still, we're still gaining health as that boss is dying. We didn't go below 10,000 during that whole time, and we got done in about probably a little over 2 minutes. There's definitely some things that you can do to make this build even better, but for right now, you see we got it done in 2 minutes 7 seconds. You probably will, if you want to get that extra 300, you probably will just want to bring in another unit, just to have more hits, more combos. And right now, if you're doing this and you're testing out, each time you run through this, not only are you getting your arc AP, you're also going to be getting these 3.5 year anniversary medals. Those are dropping in story mode missions right now. So as you can see, you don't get any Zell, you don't get any experience, but you get AP, you get some blue souls, red souls, get your clear time, so it's sort of like patting yourself on the back. That's the Adel right there. There's the arc, and we're not gonna play this one again because I feel like we sort of you know, did exactly what we needed to do as far as explaining how the build goes. There you see down there, we've cleared it. We haven't completed it, but we've cleared it. I'll probably go back and complete it at another point. But with all that being said, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Let me know if there's anything about the build that you like, that you don't like. Maybe give suggestions that you've been using that's been working for you. And with that being said, thank you. I'm going to be doing another summon video for the new character that's coming out on the 27th when the new story comes out. I do have some predictions of who it's going to be. I'm not going to say because I don't know how far you are in the story, and I don't want to, you know, spoil anything that's happening currently. So yeah, that's about it. Let me know how the build works for you, and just like that, we're done. You have a good one, and remember, set your heart ablaze.